Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. So today we will learn about metrics and tracing for .NET app using OpenTelemetry, Jaeger and Prometheus. So as you know, in modern microservices and distributed systems, monitoring observability and tracing have become essential for identifying the performance bottlenecks and troubleshooting the issues. So we will walk through the process of setting up OpenTelemetry, exporting the traces for Jaeger and exporting the metrics to Prometheus. So first, let's see the prerequisites. You should have an AWS account with Ubuntu 24.04 EC2 instance up and running. Then you should have .NET SDK, Docker, Prometheus, and Jaeger installed in your operating system. So our first step is setting up the Ubuntu EC2 instance. So if you don't have the above listed tools installed it on your system, you can install them. So let's see it. First, you should update the package list. So let's copy this command and paste it. Now our package list is updated. Next, let's install the .NET SDK. Let's install Docker also. So let's copy this command, paste it. So now our .NET SDK and Docker, both of them are installed. So after installing the Docker, let's start the Docker using sudo systemctl start docker command. After starting it, enable the Docker service. And after this, let's get the Prometheus. So let's pull the latest Prometheus image using sudo docker pull from /prometheus command. This command will pull the latest image. So here, as you can see, it has downloaded the newer image of Prometheus. Next, let's download the Jaeger image also. So our Jaeger is also downloaded successfully. So now our next step is setting up the .NET project with OpenTelemetry. So for this particular example, we will be using a sample .NET application from our GitHub repository. So let's copy this command to clone into our system. So as you can see, our repository is cloned. So let's navigate to its directory using this command. Now we are inside that directory. After this, our next step is instrumenting the .NET application with OpenTelemetry. So for that, first open the program.cs file. So I will replace the code of this file with ours. Let me just remove this code. Now let's copy our code. So this is our program.cs file. So let's copy the whole code and paste it inside the file. So first, here is the import section. This will imports the necessary namespaces, including those for OpenTelemetry, ASP.NET Core, Matrix, and Prometheus. Then next is our service setup. Here, the web application create builder initializes the ASP.NET Core application builder, and service name here is roll dice. Then next we are creating the custom meter for metrics. Right there. Here the custom meter named roll dice metrics is created, which will be used to track the application specific metrics, and HTTP request counter tracks the total number of incoming HTTP requests using the custom matrix named HTTP request total. Then next is login configuration right over here. This configures the OpenTelemetry to handle the login with the service name Rodice. Then next we are configuring the OpenTelemetry. Here is the OpenTelemetry tracing configuration. Here add a spin netcore instrumentation. This will track the incoming HTTP request for tracing. Then add HTTP client instrumentation, traces outgoing HTTP client calls. Add Jaeger exporter. This configures the application to send the traces to Jaeger running on the specific host and port, which is written here. Then next is add console exporter, which is optionally exports the trace data to the console for easier debugging. And next we have written here the OpenTelemetry metrics configuration. Here the metrics are collected using the OpenTelemetry. The add ASP netcore instrumentation. This will automatically tracks the metrics for incoming HTTP request. Then add HTTP client instrumentation, tracks the metrics for ongoing HTTP request made by the application. Then add Prometheus exporter. This exposes the metrics to Prometheus. Then next we are building the application and configuring the middleware here. The app use routing sets up the request routing, and app use HTTP matrix integrates the Prometheus HTTP matrix. Then next we are exposing the endpoint matrix endpoint in this section. This will expose the matrix endpoint for Prometheus scraping. Then next we are handling the roll dice endpoint. Here we are writing the handle roll dice method and roll the dice method. Here handle the sorry handle roll dice method. It handles the request to the roll dice endpoint, and in the roll dice method it generates the random number between 1 to 6, which is like a dice roll. It will give output in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 randomly. And then next We are writing the endpoint mapping for roll dice. This will map the roll dice player endpoint to the handle roll dice method, which possesses the dice roll request, and the app run starts the application. So let's save the file. So next, open the my Prometheus app.cs proj file. So let's copy this command and paste it. Let's also the replace code of this file with ours. So this is our my Prometheus app.cs proj file. So let's copy the code and paste it here. Here we have updated the versions of the dependencies and also added some new ones. So first is the project definition written over here. This part specifies that the project uses Microsoft.NET.SDK.Web SDK, which is specifically designed for building the web applications using .NET. Then next is our property group section. Here we have written the target framework. This will specify the .NET version, which is 8.0. Then next is nullable, which is set to the enable, and when it is set to enable, this references the types in C hash. Then implicit using is also set to enable, and when it is set to enable, this feature will automatically includes the common using directives, so you don't need to write them at the top of each file. Then lastly, this is our item group section. This is the most important one. First, this section lists all the external dependencies that the project requires. So let's save this file. Next, let's open the Prometheus.yaml file. Here we will change the local host from the targets to the public IP address of our EC2 instance. So let's copy it and paste it. Save the file. Now our next step is build and run the .NET application with OpenTelemetry. So first, let's build the application using .NET build command. So as you can see, our application build is succeeded. So next, let's run the application using .NET run command. So this command will start the application. As you can see, our application is running successfully, and this will expose the matrix endpoint for Prometheus to scrap. So you can test this application by accessing the endpoint, which will return the HTTP matrix by visiting the old 8080/matrix. So let's run it. Copy your public IP address and paste it in the web browser. Then colon 8080/matrix. As you can see, our application is running. You can run the application raw dice by writing the raw dice instead of matrix. Make sure to run it in HTTP, not in HTTPS. HTTP colon slash public IP address colon 80 slash raw dice. As you can see, our application is running successfully, and you can see the output 4, which is the output of dice roll. You can refresh it and get the new output. Here we are getting 6. So you can say that our application is running correctly. Now, next, let's open the duplicate tab here. So now let's again navigate to our project directory. We are going to run our Prometheus container, and our Prometheus.yaml file is in this directory. So make sure to run the Prometheus container where your Prometheus.yaml file is present. So let's copy this command to run our Prometheus container. Paste it. This command will run our container on 9090 port, which is a default port for Prometheus. So now let's try to access the Prometheus web interface. Copy the public IP address. Then in your web browser, type http colon slash paste your public IP address 9090. So this is your Prometheus web interface. Now to check if Prometheus is correctly scraping metrics from the .NET application, and so let's navigate to the status, click on targets. So here you can see the job prime my Prometheus app is listed, and it is marked as served, which means our Prometheus is correctly scraping the metrics from our roll dice application. Now next, let's run the Jaeger in a Docker container. For that, let's copy this command. Let's open another tab. Close this up and paste the command. Hit enter. So as you can see, our Jaeger is also running. Now after running it, let's visit the Jaeger by running its port 16686, and just copy this from here. Six, which is a default port for Jaeger. Hit enter. So here you can see the Jaeger user interface. You can see traces for the incoming HTTP request. So let's see them in service. select the service role dice. In operations, you can select the operation all or get matrices. Then there's also look back time, from what time you want to see, like 5 minutes. Let's set it to 5 minutes. There is also 15 minutes, 30 minutes option. Then there is max duration and min duration for traces. Let's keep them blank. Mm, You can here limit the result for how many traces you want to see. Let's keep it to 5. Click on find traces. So here you can see we are getting the traces, and you can even compare them. So today we have seen the basic setup of Jaeger, OpenTelemetry, Jaeger, and Prometheus. By integrating the OpenTelemetry with Jaeger and Prometheus in your .NET application, you can gain the powerful observability features. This includes the distributed tracing and the real-time metrics monitoring. And with Jaeger, you can visualize the end-to-end traces, and you can even pinpoint the slow or failing operations. And with Prometheus, you can track the metrics, and these tools help you to track and analyze the performance of your application, which makes it easier to diagnose the issues in production environment. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you.